Another important group of the medieval times in England were the monks and nuns. I'm not going to give you too much detail on that because Miss Pippin is going to go over it in a later time, but the monks uh, came from the rule of Saint Benedict and around the 7th century. So, a little bit before the Middle Ages got into full swing. So, the monks pretty much went as to what Saint Benedict said. And there were several hundred monasteries in England around this time, and they were all under the rule of Saint Benedict. So at the core of the monks' day was prayer, and the monks would gather together at least 8 times to sing this during service, which is an incredible amount. And not only did they do that, but they had set aside specific time to read only the Bible, and they would work, which would be usually gardening, cleaning, or copying manuscripts. And not only that, they had to be nice to the poor, they had to give alms, and they had to be very hospitable, which means that if there was a traveler and they needed help, they had to help them, whether they looked suspicious or they were just very unkind and, disrespectful. They still needed to be hospitable to them. And some of the monks preferred to have beautiful places of worship that were adorned in, gold and artwork and high ceilings, when you think of castles and stuff like that and beautiful churches in Europe. But on the other hand, there were other monks that preferred to be in a compact space, kind of like a prison cell, for long periods of time to read their Bible and reflect and pray. And along with this, nuns, they had a lot of the same life, but they didn't have the privileges as monks did because monks were males. So nuns usually weren't allowed to copy manuscripts, and they weren't as educated as the monks were. They didn't all know how to read, but they were all lived very devoted, holy lives, very purposeful. And like I said, it's very important to remember how the men were treated differently than the women, even in the church.